Wisconsin's most comprehensive healthcare system, and by Rural Insurance.
Darlington Power, Quillins, Winona Technical College, Ecker Back and Son, and the Fall Creek Boosters. 1993 Wisconsin State High School Football Championships on Channel 8, WKBT.
From Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin, the 1993 WIAA State Football Championships begin with the Division V title game as the undefeated Fall Creek Crickets face the 9-3 Darlington Redbirds. Good morning from Madison, everyone. I'm Jay Wilson, along with Beaver Dam High School football coach Charlie McDonald. We'll be bringing you the play-by-play of the Division V championship game this morning from Camp Randall Stadium. And Charlie, the big question of the week, the status of Fall Creek running back Russ Hackle, and it appears he's going to go today.
Well, I understand that he is, and of course he's been a great football player for Fall Creek all year. He scored, I believe, 30 touchdowns and is such a vital part of the offense that if he's able to play, it's a tremendous boost for them. Without him, I think it changes some things for them, but it looks like he's going to give it a go.
He bruised a kneecap in a playoff game a couple of weeks ago, did not play last week, but again, should be close to full speed today. As far as Darlington is concerned, their big gun on offense is also a running back, number 42, Matt Christ.
Matt is an excellent player, and of course he's a fullback in that wing T-set, and he'll again be a vital player in that offense. We look for some big things out of Matt today.
We talked about the offenses. How about the defenses? Both teams have been playing defensively very well lately.
They really have. It's interesting because Darlington started out this year kind of in trouble. They were 2-3, and I think everything picked up, and defensively they came on very strong, and they've been terrific, I think, the last month and a half. It's just the opposite, of course, for Fall Creek because they started out really fast, and they've finished fast. They've in 12 ball games, they've had 6 shutouts, which is impressive.
And it should be a great matchup, and the weather not a problem. A little chilly, but no rain as of yet. We'll be back with the kickoff of the Division V championship game in just a little bit, but now these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies and Marshfield Clinic. We're back at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. The starting lineup's being announced to the crowd here as we're just seconds away from the kickoff of the Division V championship game. There's Douglas MacArthur, the head coach at Darlington, his 10th year with the Redbirds. Darlington making its 4th trip to the state finals, and they've won the championship each time, 87, 90, and 91, and they're playing for the title again in 1993. Fall Creek's coach, Ron Schultz, his 30th year at Fall Creek. He's also the boys' basketball coach. He's been doing that for 29 years. So Ron Schultz, certainly no stranger to playoff competition, Fall Creek's first trip to state, and it should be an interesting matchup to see how Fall Creek fares in their first state championship final. Our officials today are from the Milwaukee area. Tom DeCristo from Wauwatosa is the referee. Paul Eckert of West Allis, the umpire. Jay Holfeltz of West Bend, the linesman. And John Westfall of Hales Corners, the line judge. And Charlie, how about that experience factor? It's interesting that Darlington has been here, of course, 3 times before. Fall Creek, its first appearance at Camp Randall Stadium. And really their approach to the starting of today's game seemed a little bit different before the last hour, say.
Well, I was around there a little bit, and I thought that the kids from Darlington are loose, and they're very upbeat. And I think that the kids from Fall Creek are maybe a little bit tight, but that isn't always bad. I think once the ball game starts, things level off, and it's not always a predictor. But there was a clear-cut difference, I think, in the approach in the pregame, and I think it's good for both teams, possible.
Darlington will receive the kickoff, and kicking it away for Fall Creek is number 42, Al Yarrington, back deep to receive for the Redbirds, number 20, Rob Powell, and number 22, Nick Ryder, and we're underway in the Division V championship game. The kick taken short by Andy McGowan for Darlington. Now he gives it back to Rob Powell, and he's still on his feet, and he'll get to the 33-yard line, and that's where Darlington will take over on the first possession of the game. As we take a look at the Darlington starting offense, and Corey King, really one of the top players for Darlington on both sides of the ball, really. And in the backfield, quarterback Tim Stoffaker, a 4-point grade point, and Matt Christ, of course, the big running back. We'll be seeing plenty from him today. And watch out for those wide receivers, too, Driscoll and Nedry. Just underway in the first quarter, no score. Darlington on its first snap of the state championship, and now a flag is flown. And we'll see what the penalty is. Illegal procedure on Darlington, so that'll cost them 5 and make it 1st and 15 from the 28. As we look at the Fall Creek defense, very stingy the last few weeks. Ryan Hager, the nose guard, listed at 151 pounds. But he's got to be tough if he's playing nose guard. There's a look at the defensive backs. Russ Hackle will play in the defense for Fall Creek as the inside handoff goes for about 3, and it'll be 2nd and 12 for Darlington. As Christ gets the ball. Second and 12 at the 31 with 10:56 remaining first quarter. Stoffaker will hand it. That's Nick Ryder, and he has an opening past the 40-yard line to the 41. Big gain for the Redbirds. It'll set up 3rd and short.
You see Darlington right now line up in the wing T formation. They're going to be in a tight wing with a split end normally. Now, that was just the off-tackle play, and of course both guards, I believe, released in that play, and that's a key to the wing T offense, to be able to get those guards involved. And of course the pressure's on the defense to read those keys and fill. Big play early in this ball game, 3rd and 1.
Chris gets all the headlines, but Ryder averages 6 yards a carry, so keep an eye on him. 3rd down carry to Chris, and he's close to a first down, but he might have been stacked up just short. We'll see where they mark it. And there's Ryan Hager, the 151-pound nose guard, pushing Matt Christ backwards, perhaps stopping him from a first down. Christ at 5'8", 199. That is very close. Charlie, what do you think?
Well, I think from our view that he may be a little bit short. They ran that fullback trap, which I think was a good time to run it, and they almost wedged the ball there. And, they are really close, I think, to... in fact, they made the first down.
Yeah, so they're going to give it to him. That's about as close as you can come, but it is a first down for Darlington, so the drive stays alive with 10-12 left in the first quarter. No score.
That first down took away a pressure call, I think, for the Darlington coaching staff early, because the ball's about the 44-yard line.
As we said, Darlington got off to a 2-3 start this season, but they've been red hot lately as they give the ball to Ryder again, and he is stopped in the backfield. Making the play for Fall Creek is Craig Kotz, number 55, a captain, 6 foot, 195-pound senior. Charlie, we're going to see much passing today, do you think?
I think that the passing game, I think, is going to be dictated by how well things go on the ground. I know that Darlington has thrown the ball, and they've thrown it well. They've thrown the ball at 50% completion ratio, which is excellent.
And there's a pass. Stoffaker hits Jason Driscoll, and it's going to be a short gain just short of midfield. And it'll set up a 3rd down for Darlington. Well, no sooner said than done. And Darlington goes to the air. They've had, as you said, Charlie, they've had success there. Stoffaker, 51 of 91 passing on the year, 706 yards, 10 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. So when they go to the pass, they're very successful.
That's a very impressive statistic, I think, to throw for 10 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions. And because of that, I think you're going to see some passes. Now, that was a hitch pass, and it was executed with success. 3rd
and 4 for Darlington at the 49. The handoff. And a fumble picked up by Fall Creek. And recovering is Brock Gruenwald for Fall Creek, and the Crickets get the first turnover of the game. Fall Creek gets its first possession when we come back. 8:43 left, first quarter, no score. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network. First down carry, gained 5. So now with 7:59 left in the first quarter, it's 2nd and 5 for Fall Creek at the Darlington 31-yard line. At quarterback for Fall Creek, number 5, Ryan Gunderson. In the backfield, number 33 is Carl Anderson. There's number 40, Kane Rocco, getting the ball, and he's going to be tackled after a gain of about 1. And also number 43, Russ Hackle, will be in the backfield for Fall Creek. And here we go for the Fall Creek starting lineup. Steinke, Katz, Mickelson, Rodowski, and Kleinhans have done a nice job blocking for those backs all year long. And Ryan Gunderson, a left-hander, will be at the quarterback spot. And Hackle and Rocco, boy, both those guys can run the ball.
Coach Schultz mentioned to me that they would be a multiple offensive team, and they certainly have been that way just to start this ball game. We've seen, I think, 3 different formations. Right now they're in a trip set to the right with 3 receivers.
3rd and 4, they pitch it to Anderson, and he has a little opening, and he drags the tackler to the first down at the 25-yard line. So Fall Creek moving the ball very nicely, and Carl Anderson doing most of the offensive load so far.
Right now, Russ Hackle has just entered the ball game for the first time at fullback, so it appears that he's going to give it a go, and of course Anderson is started strongly for Fall Creek.
On the Darlington defense, keep an eye on number 78, Corey King. He's leading the team in tackles, and he is all over the field. And the Darlington defensive backfield has made 11 interceptions this year, and they're also a part of the defense to watch. 1st and 10 at the 26. They pitch it to Hackle. Let's see if he's healthy. Breaks one tackle, but not the next. A great defensive play there by number 10, Josh Bush, who met Hackle head on.
Darlington will line up in a 4-4 look, and they just have 2 down people. The 2 tackles are in a 4-point stance, and I think you're going to see the other players in a 2-point stance. And of course, with that 4-4, you get a chance for some good pursuit and a lot of moving around, and of course, a lot of stunning. And I think how much that happens depends upon how the ball game goes.
2nd and 8 at the 24. 6 minutes left, first quarter. No score. The handoff. And that's going to be stopped again by Darlington. They'll gain a couple. Sean Lynch, number 22, getting the ball for Fall Creek. But stacked up by the right side of the Darlington defensive line. So now Fall Creek at the 20-yard line, faced with a 3rd and 5. Maybe we'll see Gunderson go to the air for the first time on 3rd and 5.
Carl Anderson is back at fullback, and Hackle has left the game.
Grunwald is split left, but they hand it to Anderson, and he is stacked up just over the line of scrimmage. Brian Tischer, number 50, leading the charge for Darlington, along with 43, Andy McGowan. So it'll set up a 4th down and short for Fall Creek. Here comes Hackle back into the lineup. And Fall Creek's kicker is injured. Number 81, their normal kicker, Bob Soltzwich, is injured. So Ron Schultz with an early gamble, 4th and 1 with 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. You got to give it to Hackle, don't you?
Well, I would think so. They're set up a strong left with everybody left in the backfield, and they're going to just run him off tackle.
First down, Russ Hackle as he finds an opening on the left side. Nothing fancy but power football, but that's what Fall Creek can do, and it results in a first down.
I think that's the kind of a thing that has gotten them here. And of course, from that kind of a play, Hackle scored 30 touchdowns this year, and so they're going to put some pressure, I think, in the defense right now in a goal line situation.
And making the seal of that hole, running backs Sean Lynch and Kane Rocco, giving Hackle the opening. Okay, 1st and 10 now. The Fall Creek drive is down to the 12. Pitch to Hackle. He is stopped. Good defensive play by 81, Matt Johnson. And number 22, Sean Raleigh. Make that Nick Ryder. There's Nick Ryder, the 5'10 senior.
Excellent pursuit that time by the Darlington defense. I think that they read that play very well, and they got to the right position.
Fall Creek has been in the playoffs 9 times since 1982, but it's the first time that the Crickets have made it to the state championship game. Ryan Gunderson, the quarterback, hopes to get them the championship this year. Kane Rocco gets a block, gets inside the 10, down to the 7. Tackled by Tim Stoffaker. So
an excellent guard, by Craig Katz, a pulling guard that time. He got out in front and made an excellent block on the defensive end, which enabled that play to be successful.
Coming up, the 11th play of this opening drive by Fall Creek, and every play has been a running play, and it's been successful. 3rd and 5. Hackle behind Gunderson. Hackle gets it. Gets inside the 5. Still on his feet, stacked up. And short of the first down. The first down, he needed to get to the 1.5-yard line. He'll be close. but he'll be about a yard short. So Darlington trying to stop this Fall Creek drive again. It'll set up a short, 4th and short situation. Boy, those are tough yards in there.
They really are, and I think right now they're back almost to the same situation they had about 4 plays ago, and I look for Hackle again in that off-tackle play. In fact, they've lined up in a strong formation left, and I would almost anticipate off left tackle.
Hackle gets it. He stopped once, still on his feet. He might have a first down inside the 1. Matt Johnson grabbed him around the legs and finally got him down inside the 1, along with number 50, Brian Tischer. But it will be a first down for Fall Creek inside the 1-yard line. Right now, Fall Creek winning the battle of the line.
They really are. It looks like they're really tight line splits right now, the last 3 or 4 plays. And I think for the back, that big and strong, they're going to make it difficult, especially to stop them down here.
No score with 2:20 remaining in the first quarter, but Hackle changes it. Touchdown, Fall Creek. Nothing fancy.
No, it really wasn't.
And Hackle takes it in for the score, and the Crickets lead 6-0. They found great success over the left side of that line, and there it is again. And again, another great block by Kane Rocco, number 40. It's been kind of on a wing. He's listed as a running back, but he's been playing a little bit of wing and makes another great ceiling block there. Here's the try for the extra point for Fall Creek, number 42, Al Yarrington. And the hold is fumbled. Yarrington tries to shovel it ahead, but Darlington's Corey King gets it. The extra point no good. So it stays 6-0 Fall Creek, 2:14 remaining in the first quarter. Now these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies and Marshfield Clinic. Well, if you watch the Packer game Monday night from Kansas City, you know how turnovers hurt them, and a turnover really hurts Darlington on that first drive, Charlie.
Yes, it did. Of course, the key thing about that was Fall Creek put together a 13-play drive, and there wasn't a real big play in there, but they consistently controlled the line of scrimmage, and, that's a good sign for them. The other thing, I guess, as far as Fall Creek is concerned, it looks like Russ Hackle is going to be ready to go. Now, I don't know how much they're going to use him, but he certainly ran hard throughout that whole series.
13 plays, 50 yards, just under 5.5 minutes on the drive. Hackle with 6 rushes for 14 yards. He scored the touchdown. And Anderson, 4 yards for 27 yards on that first drive. Now, this time they fake the reverse, and it's Nick Ryder, and he is stopped. What a great play on special teams by 53 Todd Mickelson for Fall Creek. And Darlington starts out at the 22-yard line. Make it the 19.
If we break that tackle, and if he can get by that defender right here, he's got a chance for a big return. And I think that the fake off of that, I'm sure it has been successful, and they did a pretty good job of it. One defender did an excellent job and got down and made that play.
Now Darlington on its second possession of the game. Under 2 minutes to go now in the first quarter. The handoff is to Nick Ryder. He tries the left side. He gets through, breaks across the 35-yard line. A great run by Nick Ryder. A first down for Darlington.
That was a good picture of the wing tee when it's run the right way. Both guards got outside, turned the corner, and if the two guards can turn the corner like that, you've got a chance for a big play. And Darlington got that. Very well done.
Matt Chris leading the way with some blocking, and boy, Ryder showing some speed to avoid some tackles there. Now they go back to number 43, Andy McGowan. He'll get maybe a yard, maybe he'll lose a yard back to the 35. And there's that man again, Todd Mickelson, making the stop for Fall Creek. Boy, you can just see Fall Creek when they break the huddle. They're just all set to go now. They're into this game. They got the points on the board and a big hit on special teams, and now they're ready to go. Now it's Darlington's opportunity to try and get some momentum on their side. McGowan and Christ behind Stoffaker. It'll be Christ with a ball in a big hole. He runs over Brock Gruenwald, close to a first down to the 45.
Fall Creek that time was in a four-man front, and of course they ran the fullback isolation play to the backside, and there was a good lead block and a good block up front. And that was a very successful play. They've got a third down, in less than a yard.
And give credit to the left side of that Darlington offensive line as they're blowing open some big holes. Chris Reichling, Sky Havens, Jason Stoffaker leading the way. There's Douglas MacArthur. He's been to state 3 times with his Darlington Redbirds. All 3 times they've worn black. All 3 times they've had a bench on the far side of the field. So all things are in place for another state championship for Darlington. But they trail 6-0 as we hit the final half minute of the first quarter. Chris gets the ball again. He'll get a first down to the 48-yard line.
They really ran the same isolation play. The quarterback just reverse pivots and hands the ball to your fullback, and he follows his left halfback in an isolation block. And that's a great short yardage play, and it's very tough to defend.
Clock continues to run now. 15 seconds left in the first quarter. Darlington will probably get one more play before we change ends for quarter number 2. Stoffaker gives to Ryder. He'll try the left side again. He'll get about 7 yards to the Fall Creek 48-yard line, and that will be the end of the first quarter. A good first quarter, though, for the Fall Creek Crickets. They have a 6-0 lead after 1 period. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network. Leads Darlington 6-0 in the Division 5 championship game. I'm Jay Wilson along with Beaver Dam High School football coach Charlie McDonald. There's number 40 for Fall Creek, Kane Rocco. He was slightly injured on the last play. They attended to him. He walked off on his own power, and he looks like he's going to be just fine. There you see the trainer talking with him a little bit. And here's what happened to Kane Rocco on that last play. As Ryder carried the ball for Darlington and just hit him pretty hard, maybe just knocked the wind out of him a little bit, or got a little stinger, but he's going to be okay. Now, Darlington, as we switch ends of the field, Darlington second and 2 rather at the 43. They hand it off to Matt Christ, and he'll get a first down inside the 40. And Charlie, all we've seen, well, it's been effective, has been the running plays for both teams, really.
It really has, and they threw that the hitch pass early with some success, but they haven't had to do that. And I think Darlington has made a statement right now. They've I think both times, really, the possessions, they've moved the ball and pretty well. And this drive right here has been impressive. They've gone about 3 or 4 first downs and 45 yards, I think, since they received the football.
Now Stoffaker on first down. He'll hand it to Ryder. This time he won't get outside. And making the play is Kane Rocco as he's back in the lineup for Fall Creek. Unofficially in the first quarter, Darlington 10 rushes, 53 yards. Fall Creek 13 rushes, 50 yards. Darlington 3 first downs, Fall Creek 4. The leading rusher for Darlington, Ryder, 4 carries for 36 yards. There you see Stoffaker. I mean, that's a great passing percentage, 51 out of 99. That's over 50%. And again, Charlie, as you mentioned, 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, a great ratio as well. 11 minutes left, second quarter, 6-0 Fall Creek. Inside handoff to Christ. He'll get a first down to the 26.
That was an excellent call. That time, of course, from the wing tee, they brought the wing back in motion and really reversed things. They ran the fullback trap to the left side. Excellent job by Matt Chris. He read the block well and kept his feet and made a key first down. They've got a chance right now to take this ball in as consistently as they're moving the football on the ground.
Tackled by number 62, Tony Radowski for Fall Creek. But again, another first down for Darlington. The Redbirds on the move in their second possession. Stoffaker to Ryder. Has a couple of blockers ahead of him, but Fall Creek gums it up. And it'll be a gain of about 3 for Nick Ryder. Charlie, do you see one team or the other having an advantage playing on AstroTurf? Does one team have a speed advantage over the other that you can see?
Well, I really don't think so. I think that these teams appear to me to be evenly matched. I don't think that either team has had much experience playing in this kind of ground. I think maybe they've practiced on surface like this. Now, here's a bootleg out of that wing tee and excellent coverage.
Stoffaker was looking for number 13, Jason Driscoll, but the coverage was too good, and the Fall Creek defense, led by number 53, Todd Mickelson, gets a big sack, and it's a loss of about 4 yards, setting up a third down. Watch the pressure by Fall Creek.
They had excellent outside pressure on that bootleg, and whether it was a stunt call or not, I couldn't tell, but they really took away any chance to throw the ball successfully with that pressure.
3rd and 10 at the 27. And they'll give it to Christ, and he'll get about 5, but it'll be short of the first down to the 22-yard line. Russ Hackle among the Fall Creek tacklers. So now Darlington has a decision from the 21.
They really tried to cross him up, I think, that time by running that fullback inside, and it was close to being a very successful play. I think it took away about 6 yards of it, so they're in a 4th and 4, and this is a big play in this ballgame right now.
It would be about a 38-yard field goal, so Darlington will go for it on 4th and 4 from the Fall Creek 21. Stoffaker still has it. He'll pitch it. And stopped short of the first down in the backfield. Russ Hackle making the big play for Fall Creek. And the Crickets turn the Redbirds aside.
That was an outstanding play by the linebacker. He made a good read. Of course, it was the first time that we've seen option today. It was just a belly option from the wing T look, and it was really executed pretty well. It was just simply covered very well.
Well, you'd like to have that pursuit all the time. Look at that. Ryder has gotten outside a couple of times, but not that time. A great play by Russ Hackle, who, as you say, appears to have no ill effects from his bruised kneecap a few weeks ago. Now Fall Creek gets the ball for the second time. Inside handoff to Anderson. Short yardage to the 27. Matt Christ among the tacklers for the Darlington Redbirds. Of course, Fall Creek has a great athletic tradition. They've made the playoffs 9 times since 1982, and of course their basketball teams had a lock on state championships in the mid-'80s. The girls won state in 85, 87, and 88. The boys won in 84 and 85. But now it's time for football. They're going to the pass. They're going deep. Gunderson intercepted. Number 14, Brian Nethery for Darlington, and the Redbirds get a turnover. Well, that time Gunderson finally went to the air, but it was too far for the receiver, and Brian Nethery with an interception. Now these messages from our local stations. This is your WIAA Football Network. Now Darlington gets a turnover from Fall Creek. We'll see if the Redbirds can convert that and tie and perhaps take the lead. Darlington has had 18 plays so far, 17 of them running plays. And here's another one as Christ is stopped by 5 Fall Creek defenders, including number 40, Kane Rocco. Here's that interception again, Charlie.
This is one I think they'd like to have back if they could. Outstanding defensive play by the defensive back. He read the ball, and the ball is a little bit overthrown, but he made a great catch on the ball.
So now Darlington has it at midfield, 2nd and 9. They give Christ a yard on the last play. And Tim Stoffaker about to shout the signals. They'll give it to Christ again. He goes right and gains about 8. Just short of the first down. Matt Christ with a nice little move inside.
At that time, Darlington had a little different look. The split end was on the wing side, with it, so they're in a slot situation. And now the quarterback reverse pivot and just ran that fullback belly play. And a nice cutback by Matt Christ.
He had 172 yards in the semifinal game. He already has close to 50 in this second quarter with 6:16 left in the state championship game. Big play again, 3rd and 1 from the 42. Christ stopped initially, but drags the tackler close to the 40, and it'll be a first down for Darlington. Well, Christ has it all. That time he powered a guy. The play before he did a little shifty move right and gained 8, so Christ has it all.
He's an excellent fullback to run out of the wing T set, because I think he commands a lot of respect inside, and he has enough speed, it looks like, and cutback ability that he can cover a lot of the field.
Reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll have a look back at some of the other fall sports championships around the WIAA. We'll also hear from a couple of our statewide sponsors and talk with Doug Chickering, the executive director of the WIAA. Another running play that time, Andy McGowan tries the right side. He is stopped. And 53, Todd Mickelson again in on the play. He's having a good game.
Fall Creek has been in a number of different defensive looks. At that time, they were in a straight 52 look with a monster linebacker. At the time before, I think they were in an even front, so we'll just kind of watch that right now. But they seem to be getting a little tougher and more comfortable against this wing T offense right now.
5:16 left in the first half. 2nd and 9 from the 39. Hand off to McGowan again. He'll get it just inside the 35, and that'll be it. It'll be 3rd and about 3. There you see number 5, Ryan Gunderson, who was in on that stop. Douglas MacArthur calls the play at 3rd and 5. Now 4:36 left in the second quarter. 6-0 Fall Creek. Heckard's touchdown in the first quarter, the only score of the game. McGowan gets the ball again. He'll be about half a yard short of a first down as he kind of stumbled to the 30-yard line. Again, Todd Mickelson makes the stop. And it'll be 4th and short again for Darlington. This drive started on their own 49-yard line after the turnover, but well, we've had a lot of big plays early, Charlie, and really a few conversions too already.
They have.
On the offense.
This again is a big play for Darlington. They're 4th and about a yard. They ran a counter trap on the last play with good success, and I think they're going to run the fullback at him right now.
Christ, first down again. It's like the old Packer sweep. You know it's coming, but what can you do to stop it, huh?
Absolutely. That play, of course, out of the wing T is a difficult play because you have to defend all the areas, and they reverse pivot and give the ball to the fullback with that isolation block, and a good job up front. It's a sound play to run in the 4th and 1, and they executed it perfectly.
Kane Rocco was flat on his back after trying to make the tackle on Chris, but he bowled ahead for the first down, so the Darlington drive continues now with 3:50 left in the first half. Stoffaker will give it to McGowan on a little inside handoff, but he's stopped. After about a yard, John Kleinhand's making the play for Fall Creek.
That play was a counter trap. If we see a replay, I guess we won't, but I believe it was the guard that pulled back, and of course they had good pursuit and a good read by the linebackers to stop it.
There you see the championship tradition of the Darlington Redbirds, and I'll tell you, they're about 45-minute drive southwest of Madison, and they bring up a gang every time they come to the state finals, and they're here wearing their red colors today. 2nd and 9 for Darlington. That time Chris goes inside. He'll get about 3, and it'll be another 3rd down situation for Darlington with 3 minutes left.
We may see the wing counter. We have not seen that today, and I know that that's a play that they like to run. I think we may see some play action right here. It's a 3rd and 7, and the yards running are getting a little tougher, I think, as we've moved along. So they may have to open it up right here.
10th play of the drive. Darlington 50-50 on 3rd down conversions today. And Fall Creek jumps. That could be a huge play. That was number 50, Jesse Fredrickson, I believe. It'll cost him 5 yards.
This changes the call a lot because right now they're in a 3rd and 2, and I think as successfully as they have been with 2:35 remaining, they probably are going to take this ball at them and try to get it done that way.
And you can see the disgust of Ron Schultz. That's a coach's nightmare to bring him that much closer to a first down. Stoffaker pitches to McGowan. Has the first down inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line for Andy McGowan on a great play, a great pitch, well executed by Darlington.
Excellent call. They reverse pivoted, made that fake to the fullback, and that froze everybody. And of course, the quarterback pulled the ball out of there and made an outstanding pitch and an excellent run by the tailback.
Yeah, everybody figures Chris, who has made 3rd down conversions already today, would get it, but there you saw the linebacker bit, and McGowan was on his way, gets a couple of blocks downfield, and darn near breaks it for the score, but finally tackled down at the 6-yard line. So Darlington has it first down now, 1st and goal. 2 minutes remaining. Inside handoff to Christ inside the 5 to the 4. Rocco leading the way for Fall Creek defensively.
Tim Stoffaker, the quarterback, runs that option pretty well. He's, I think 3 times they've run that, and I think he does a nice job with it. I have not seen him run the football, so I'm not aware of that part of it, but the rest of it he does nicely.
Second down for Darlington. Clock continues to run. Oh, that time Christ and Stoffaker get mixed up on the handoff, and Fall Creek is right there to nullify any gain. In fact, they might have lost half a yard. So now it's third down with 1:09 left. Boy, Darlington would really like to get a score here before they go into halftime. Watch a little mix-up in the backfield with Stoffaker and Chris. In fact, Ryder, the blocking back, or McGowan rather, the blocking back, kind of got tangled up in all that stuff too. Third down for the Redbirds. Stoffaker still has it. He'll be tackled at the 2 with 38 seconds left. And it sets up fourth down, and Darlington will call a timeout. Well, that time they tried the option again, but Fall Creek came through with a big play. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network. 34 seconds remaining in the second quarter. 6-0 Fall Creek, but Darlington has the ball. 4th and goal at the 3-yard line, and the Redbirds will go for it. There you see the timeouts remaining with 34 seconds left. Another long drive. This is the 14th play for Darlington. Stoffaker will keep it. He'll pitch it. There's an opening. Touchdown, Nick Ryder.
Turned out to be a great call. Fall Creek really stuffed everything up inside, and of course I think the quarterback did, again, a nice job. He made a quick fake and got rid of that ball in a hurry, and it was beautifully done, beautifully executed.
There you see that 55 for Fall Creek. That's Craig Kotz, who was all over Stoffaker, but he was still able to pitch it and get it to Ryder, who scores. And Darlington has tied this game at 6. An extra point will put the Redbirds in the lead heading to halftime. Matt Johnson will kick it for Darlington. And before the snap, flags all over the place.
This game has been very, very even. Both scores came after turnovers, and both came after long drives by each team. They've really been impressive offensively. The only thing probably that's lacking right now completely has been a passing game, and that sometimes happens, I think, down at in a game with this kind of pressure and this much involved. But offensively, I think both teams have been very solid, and of course defensively they've played pretty well as well.
And boy, those mixed extra points come back to get you sometimes, don't they? The snap's a little high, but Stoffaker gets it down, and it's no good. So both teams missing extra points, and we stay tied at 6 with 29 seconds left in the half. Now these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies and Marshfield Clinic. Seconds left before halftime. Darlington is tied at 6, and they will kick to Fall Creek. Number 81, Matt Johnson, will kick it deep for the Darlington Redbirds, and the kick is taken short. That's Rocco, number 40, and he'll get across the 35 before he's stopped. And Charlie, another long drive results in a score for Darlington. They've had a couple of long drives, but this one, 14 plays, 51 yards. Nick Ryder with a 2-yard run.
That was an excellent drive. I don't know whether they had a real big play in the drive, but they were consistent on each and every play. I think they did that without any penalties. They handled the ball beautifully, and of course I think the option call on the goal line was excellent. That put a lot of pressure on the defense to defend that kind of a play with just 2 yards to go.
And both of our scores have come off turnovers today. There's the handoff to Ryan Gunderson. Rather, that's Gunderson keeping it, and he'll get to the 45 as time runs out in the first half. We're halfway through the Division 5 state championship game here at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, and we're still even. Fall Creek 6, Darlington 6. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
turnover that ended up in a score for Darlington, and then the fumble that Fall Creek took in for a score. And other than that, this has been a dead even game. I think it's been a running kind of a game, and you can see both teams offensively how excellent they can be. And I think both teams play solid defense. This is obviously going to be a close finish, I think, and possibly a turnover in the second half is going to determine the outcome. I think the extra point that we had mentioned off the camera, how key those extra points were, and of course, what happened, we just saw. Both teams miss on those extra points, and now we're back even.
More football in a little bit, but, several WIAA Fall State tournaments have already taken place. Now let's take a look at the championships in soccer, tennis, golf, volleyball, and cross country. The fall sports tournament season gets off to a record-setting start. Janesville's Riverside Golf Course is the new home of the girls' golf tournament, but no matter where the site, the La Crosse Central team dominates. Central's margin of victory, a whopping 59 shots. And leading the way is Erin Carney. Her final round, 69, is believed to be the lowest single round in tournament history. And her two-day total of 140 is also a record.
I always knew that I could shoot like this, but it was just kind of a question of doing it. And now that I've done it, it becomes a lot more easy. It becomes a lot easier to do it. So hopefully I can keep shooting these rounds.
Central's convincing team win is its fourth straight. Appleton West, Racine Case, Racine Horlick, and Madison La Follette all finish in the top 5. Individually, Kearney takes the title by 14 shots over last year's runner-up, Bree Perk of Racine Case. Defending champion Carrie Sawvell is in a group tied for third. It's a familiar story at the girls' tennis tournament again. Suburban Milwaukee schools battle for the championship. Nicolay goes for 4 titles in the last 5 years, and leading the way, the doubles team of Samantha Cohn and Amanda Cohen. Cohn and Cohen takes second place, while Nicole Jackson gets third place in singles competition. That helps Nicolay to its 11th girls' tennis championship in 23 years. The Knights have finished second 7 times as well. This year, for the second year in a row, Brookfield Central is the runner-up. And after 2-time defending singles champion Amanda Chenal graduates, a new champion is crowned. Fond du Lac's Jennifer Hayes is the class of the field, completing a 26-0 season with a 6-3, 6-3 win over Erica Wentz of Brookfield Central in the final. And the doubles title goes to Greendale's Kristen Dodds and Colleen Algren. They put the cap on a 28-0 year, defeating Nicolay's Cohn and Cohen 3-6, 6-3, 6-1. The second year of the 2-division boys soccer tournament provides a second chance for the De Pere Redbirds. In 1992, De Pere lost the Division II title in overtime. This year, the Redbirds take the extra step. Matt Joswick has a big state tournament, including 2 goals in the final to beat Grafton 3-1.
Yeah, that's great. We just wanted to get back here and, we need that second chance, There's a lot of people we like to win it for, and it finally, we pulled together and it happened.
In Division I, Mequon Homestead gets its first state boys soccer title behind the scoring of Ted Storm and the goaltending of David DeMarco. Homestead's 2-1 overtime victory over Brookfield East in the final gives Coach Tom Holman the championship in his first year as the Highlanders coach. What WIAA sport has the most teams? Well, girls volleyball boasts 413 schools in the 1993 school year, and the top spikers make their way to UW Oshkosh to see who's the best. And this year's winners, Division I, West Bend East, Division II, Waupun, Division III, Somerset, and Turtle Lake takes Division IV. A lot of people were assuming La Crosse Logan's Avery Walters would take her 3rd straight girls cross-country title in Wisconsin Rapids. But a runner from Eau Claire North, Christina Betzold, gets the fast time of the day, 14 minutes, 47 seconds. And Walters finishes 5th. Team winners for girls in Division I, Waukesha West, Division II, Mayville, and Brookwood takes girls Division III. The best finish of the day is in boys Division I. Chris Reed of Brookfield East against La Crosse Central's Micah Wabunzi. And Reed's finishing kick gives him a 2-second win and the Division I state championship. The team winners at the boys cross-country meet include West Bend West in Division I, Whitewater in Division II, and Cochrane Fountain City taking Division III. And yes, those were snowflakes at the state boys soccer tournament here in Madison last weekend. At our Division V state championship football game, we're at halftime. Fall Creek and Darlington tied at 6. Now these messages from our local stations. This is your WIAA Football Network. Division 5 title game as Fall Creek and Darlington are tied at 6. One of the most important components of WIAA competition is sportsmanship among the athletes, coaches, and fans. This year, Rural Insurance Companies has joined the WIAA in adding the state football finals to its Sportsmanship Awards program. One school and one community will be honored this year as the first recipient of the award that recognizes overall sportsmanship and winning school.
Being a champion doesn't happen overnight. Hours of training, sweat, and dedication go into it. Coaches set goals. They create game plans, then guide their teams along these plans. Together, as a team, they work day to day to win the next game, always mindful of the prize that awaits down the road. The future is something we think about a lot at Rural Insurance. We too create game plans on how to protect and safeguard what's important for your future. That's why as a company we're deeply involved with the youth of Wisconsin, because they are the promise of tomorrow and deserve our best efforts today. Growing out of our roots in Wisconsin farm communities, Rural Insurance has long supported 4-H and future farmers of America. Another rural tradition has been our sponsorship of the WIAA football and basketball championship telecasts. We're also the sole sponsor of the WIAA Boys and Girls Sportsmanship Awards. These honors are presented to the schools that live up to the ideal that it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game, which we think is the true mark of a champion. We at Rural have also taken our concern for the young people of our state on the road. We're a major sponsor of Setting the Pace, an innovative program to promote safe driving. Through this program, we bring some of the most respected names in IndyCar racing to schools throughout the state to explain the importance of safe driving. Who better to talk about auto safety than those whose lives depend on it? Overcoming competition in an IndyCar takes a certain kind of courage. Overcoming handicaps takes quite another. Our employees and our agents are proud to be associated with the Special Olympics, because year after year, the Special Olympics affirms that there are no limitations to what individual effort can accomplish. What does all this have to do with insurance? Well, you'd have to go back some 60 years to find out. Rural Insurance was founded by and for the farmers of Wisconsin in the 1930s. The idea was to protect these farmers' resources when other insurance companies wouldn't. Through the years, Rural has become just as urban as it is rural, with a full line of insurance coverage. But we still understand that insurance isn't just about protecting things. Its real value lies in safeguarding a quality of life for the future. So giving back to our Wisconsin communities and supporting our youth is a natural commitment for us. It's as valuable a form of insurance as any policy we write. The Rural Insurance Companies, auto, home, life, farm, health, business.
And we are also pleased to welcome Marshfield Clinic as a statewide sponsor of the 1993 state football finals. Their commitment to health care, preventative medicine, and physical fitness is a great match with WIAA Interscholastic Athletics. Clinic Executive Director Robert DeVita talked with Randy Allen of the WIAA about their support of high school competition.
Well, Randy, it makes a lot of sense for us to do this kind of thing. Marshall Clinic supports other activities that are similar to this. For example, we're a corporate sponsor of the YMCA. We have programs in pediatrics for young children and also for adolescents. We do that, we carry that through all the way through their lives, all the way through geriatrics. If patients, young or old, have cardiac problems, we have a cardiac rehab program. The kind of things that focus on prevention and healthy lifestyles and fitness dovetail perfectly with what the WIAA is doing in the high school football tournament. Students in athletics, students who happen to be patients, the fit is perfect.
We hear an awful lot about the facility in Marshfield. But more and more, Marshfield Clinic is a statewide presence, as our state football finals kind of represent two communities from all over Wisconsin. That's much the same for your organization.
Yes.
Now, is it not?
We concentrate primarily in central, northern, and western Wisconsin, but for example, the communities of Thorpe and Ashland, where we have offices, are in the tournament this year, and we're really pleased at that because Marshfield Clinic is in these communities, and those are the communities we serve, and they're represented in that tournament. We wish them luck.
What kind of initiatives have there been, and perhaps what are you planning for in the future to deal with preventive medicine earlier in life and built around physical fitness?
Well, the healthcare reform initiatives that we're seeing come out of the federal government, state government, and also private industry, which is reforming industry, the healthcare industry right now, even before the state and federal initiatives, are all emphasizing primary prevention. We happen to have outstanding cadres of physicians and other health professionals in those specific disciplines. For example, in family practice, in obstetrics and gynecology, general internal medicine, pediatrics, and then all the specialties, the subspecialties. We also have professionals, nurse clinicians and other nurses and technicians and specialists who are not physicians. Their orientation is to keep people well because we will be required to be accountable for the health care of communities, of defined populations. That's what the reform is going to be telling us. We've been doing that for years in these communities, and because now they're going to be focusing in a regulatory sense, it's going to be becoming even more important to do that. So our planning is going to become more focused on preventive services, on being able to keep large populations of people well so that they don't have to use the sickness system, the healthcare system.
We've seen an awful lot of change and growth in the facility here in Marshfield.
Yes.
Trace that in its most recent changes and perhaps what lies in store for the future.
Sure. The building that we're sitting in right now was added in 1990 and was the capstone of a long series of expansions that took place on this campus. The building adjacent to this was the first building on this campus in '76, we had an expansion in '84, another expansion in '89, and the last expansion was in 1990. Actually, we added a building across the street as a refurbished building, a former school. On this campus, probably for a while, that's going to be it. We're also trying to plan to use our existing facilities more, that is, evenings, weekends. That's the plan for the future, is to investigate how we can do that, to use our beautiful facilities and our up-to-date equipment even more. Over in the communities that surround us, we've had a lot of expansion, and that's where we will see a lot of facility expansion as well. We've recently, just as recently as last summer, dedicated 2 new buildings in our region, one in Park Falls, Wisconsin, and another one, another community, Colby, in Abbotsford, serving those communities. So we see a lot of expansion there, Randy, in terms of our region, serving those communities as well, because that's where the patients are. They're not all here in Marshfield. Some will have to come to Marshfield, we'll take care of them here, but others will serve in those communities.
And again, we thank Marshfield Clinic and Rural Insurance Companies for their support. Fall Creek and Darlington tied at 6 at halftime. In a moment, we'll talk with WIAA Executive Director Doug Chickering. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network. As we approach the start of the third quarter in today's Division 5 state championship game. Welcome back to Madison. I'm Jay Wilson. Now joining us in the booth, WIAA Executive Director Doug Chickering, who's doing his best to stay warm today, and I think you're winning the battle so far. Huh?
It's just a great day for football, Jay.
He says with a smile. Doug, let's go back to when the field of 96 was first selected. Are you happy with the process and the way teams are selected and put into the state tournament right now?
I'm happy with the process that we have now that selects the 96 schools when I compare it to the 48 schools that we previously had in. But as the football playoffs gain more maturity each year, I think we have an obligation to review the entire philosophy of our program in the state, because we are eliminating a number of good teams that certainly are worthy of postseason competition by just taking in the conference champions and then selected runners-up.
Do you think there's a system out there that can make everybody happy?
Well, there's not a system that will make everybody happy. But I would hope that through the kind of committee process we have and the types of membership input that is available to us, that we can give some consideration to at least to some options that might better answer the questions that we get this time of year, such as why is a tri-champion in a conference not going, and at the same time there are some runners-up that are 2 games behind or even on occasion might have a 500 record or even less than that do advance into the playoffs. So I think we have to review our present program, and if we can make it better, we have a duty to do that.
Is the 6-division format going to stay for a few years, you figure?
I can't envision at all that the 6-division format would be tinkered with at all. I think that we're satisfied with that. It provides competition in those divisions for schools of equal size. The only drawback of it is that we have some horrendous geography when we match schools in the finals at level 3 and possibly at level 2, but I think that sacrifice is worth it.
Of course, the state finals played here at Camp Randall Stadium, all 6 games, and it's an 80,000 seat stadium, and you have substantially less fans than that. Some people have said, well, let's go to a smaller place and play, but you really have a commitment with a lot of your tournaments to play in Madison. That will continue too.
Yeah, this is the first year of a new 3-year agreement that we have with the athletic department here in Madison for our football playoffs and for our basketball and wrestling tournaments. And those tournaments are here. We have a lot of cooperation from a number of people internally, and we also use the Natatorium and the Nielsen Tennis Stadium, Breeze Stevens for soccer, and because this is our state capital and it's the home of the University of Wisconsin, Madison, there's a feeling that this is the big house, and kids like to be a part of that.
And playing 6 games on artificial turf in the same place, you can actually do that in November in Wisconsin.
We couldn't play 6 games on one surface anyplace else in the state. In the early years of the football playoffs, we used 6 different sites, or at least 4 different sites when we only had the 4 divisions. And on a natural sod surface, we would be required to do that again if we were to go someplace other than here.
And finally, we would be remiss if we didn't say hi to your mom in Hawkins today.
We certainly have to say hello to my mother in Hawkins and everybody else in Hawkins.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact.
All right. Doug Chickering, thanks for joining us again. And we'll get ready for the start of the 3rd quarter in a bit. Darlington and Fall Creek tied at 6. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network. Jay Wilson and Charlie McDonald back with you live from Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, where the sun has gone behind the clouds now as we approach the start of the 3rd quarter. Fall Creek and Darlington tied at 6, both teams scoring touchdowns, both teams missing extra points in the first half. As we take a look at first half statistics, I believe. They're coming, they're on the way. They're in the bus on the way over. They should be here shortly. And through the magic of television, there they are. And Charlie, Darlington has certainly moved the ball a little bit more effectively than Fall Creek.
They have. I think they had 2 sustained drives in that second quarter that not only did it, gain a lot of yards, but it also took care of the time. That was an interesting half because there was not very many possessions in the ball game. I think they almost 16 minutes to about 8 minutes, just about twice the amount of time. And of course, if you reflect back, I think 2 big plays. Obviously, first was a fumble about midfield by Darlington, and of course, then the interception was a big play. Now I think we're going to see the fumble first of all that led to the Fall Creek touchdown.
That's Andy McGowan getting the handoff, and they just plain old strip it from him, and Brock Grunewald gets it for Fall Creek. And as you said, Charlie, that led to a Fall Creek touchdown. They give it to the big guy inside.
This is a power-off tackle play, a straight handoff, and you can see just like a wedge block inside, and he's a strong back and took it inside square, and it's hard to stop him for 2 yards.
Russ Hackle scored with 2:12 left in the first quarter. The extra point no good, 6-0 Fall Creek at that point. And Darlington scored on a 2-yard run by Nick Ryder to tie it at 6 with 34 seconds left in the second quarter. Now we're in the 3rd quarter, and returning the kick for Fall Creek, number 22, Sean Lynch. And he gets a nice return out to the 37, and that's where Fall Creek will set up shop in the second half. Both teams foregoing field goal attempts in the first half. 4th down conversions. Darlington converted 2 out of 3 4th downs, including their touchdown off the 4th. And Fall Creek, 1 of 1 on 4th down conversions. So we'll see if that trend continues here in the second half. First and 10, Fall Creek just starting the third quarter at the 36-yard line. Quarterback Ryan Gunderson will hand it off inside, and short yardage there as the Darlington defense comes through on the left side. Matt Johnson, number 81, among the tacklers. Well, Fall Creek made some hay on that first drive, but ever since, well, first of all, they haven't had the ball very often, and the second, when they do, they don't keep it very long. As you look at Fall Creek quarterback Ryan Gunderson, 5'11", 165. He's only a junior. Anderson is the setback. Anderson gets the ball to the 42. And it'll be third down for Fall Creek.
Carl Anderson just ran that inside trap again and did a nice job. And he puts them in a 3rd and about 4 position. And again, I think this is a key play for them to start out this half with a sustained drive. The way this game has gone, there has not been many possessions for either team. I think that they saw the ball 3 times only in the first half on those 3 drives, and that's not very many.
Here's a 3rd and 4 for Fall Creek. Anderson again is the setback. Man in motion. Now the play stops as flags fly. And the clock is stopped with 10:22 remaining in the third quarter. The call will go offside Fall Creek. So that'll cost the Crickets 5. WDJT TV 58 in Milwaukee and Southeast Wisconsin, carrying all 6 games of our tournament coverage live. WKBT TV 8 in La Crosse. Eau Claire carrying all 6 games live in Western Wisconsin for the 2nd straight year. In Madison, we're on TCI Cable in Madison and Southern Wisconsin, all 6 games live there. Football fans in the central Wisconsin area enjoying the state finals on the Crown Cable systems in several Wisconsin Valley cities. And Time Warner Cable systems in the Fox Valley carrying the Divisions 4, 5, and 6 games for us this year. And as Darlington gets a sack there, Brian Tischer rides Gunderson to the ground, and it'll be 4th down. Fall Creek will punt.
That was a good defensive play. I think the coverage was solid, and of course the quarterback tried to step up, and when he did, there was pressure there, and Darlington will receive this ball, I think, in reasonably good field position.
And the State Finals Network welcomes viewers in southwestern Wisconsin watching on KDUB Channel 40 in Dubuque, Iowa. Thanks to General Manager Joe Dank for his support. As the statewide network brings you state finals action. Now off the punt, Stoffaker returns it for Darlington to the 27, and that's where the Redbirds will take over on their first possession of the second half. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network. Pass in this game has been a punt. That was the first punt of the game by Fall Creek.
First punt of the game, and it was handled beautifully by Brock Grunwald. He had to short hop that ball, and of course he did a nice job with it.
Hand off to McGowan around the right side. He's finally leveled by John Kleinhans, but not before he picked up about 5. 9 minutes left, third quarter, 6-6. Touchdowns in the first half. Russ Hackle for Fall Creek, Nick Ryder for Darlington. Both times the conversion failed. The Redbirds come with a 2nd and 6 now from the 30. And it's handed off to Christ, and he's driven back after a gain of a couple. Russ Hackle among the tacklers. Also Kane Rocco for Fall Creek.
Excellent faking again from the wing T look, and it was hard to pick up where that ball was defensively. They were in a 50 look with those inside linebackers, read that pretty well and made a nice play.
Fall Creek defeated Osseo Fairchild 34-7 in level 1. Fall Creek 21, Elk Mound nothing in level 2. And last weekend, Fall Creek over Stratford 20-7 to get to the state championship game. Now, Stoffaker with a 3rd and 3 from the 33. And again, flags fly, and some sort of motion penalty is coming, and I think it's going to be against Darlington.
Darlington spread the wing T look out that time with just a one-back set, but they were going to run the trap, and somebody I don't think was set for the full second. One interesting comment about Fall Creek, they played 2 undefeated teams in the playoffs. I think the first 2 ball games they played were against unbeaten teams, and so it wasn't easy for them to get here. They matched up against some pretty tough kids.
And they are no longer unbeaten, those two teams.
No, they're not.
After Fall Creek went through town. Okay, now it's a 3rd and 8 situation for Darlington. Perhaps Stoffaker will have to go to the pass this time. He still has it. They try to pitch play to Ryder, and he's tackled at about the 31-yard line. Brock Gruenwald got an ankle and made a nice play, and Darlington will have to kick. Go with what works, so that's what Darlington tried, but that time the option is snuffed out by Gruenwald. Darlington in the playoffs, level 1, they beat Royal 55-7. Then level 2, Darlington 24, Iowa Grant 3. Level 3, Darlington beat Elkhart Lake Glenbeulah 14-0. So Darlington has outscored its opponents 93-10 in the state playoff competition, while Fall Creek has outscored its opponents 75-14. So both teams on a roll, and that's why they're here in the state final. That snap fumbled by the punter, and he gets off the kick, and it'll take an AstroTurf roll inside the 40 to the 34-yard line, as John Weaver was able to get that punt off after fumbling the snap. And he's discussing now what happened with head coach Douglas MacArthur. Now these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies and Marshfield Clinic. Jay Wilson and Charlie McDonald back with you. 3rd quarter, and Charlie, here's that punt snap again. They had a little trouble handling it. It almost had it blocked.
Close to being disaster, but it turned out beautifully with the big bounce off the AstroTurf. And again, they got their defense in good field position.
The punt actually turned out to be 35 yards, so as you say, Charlie, they avoided disaster and actually moved them down the field a little bit. So after the hackle run gains rather 2, it'll be 2nd and 8 at the 36. 6:10 remaining in the 3rd quarter. It's still 6-6, Darlington and Fall Creek. First of 6 championship games here at Camp Randall Stadium. The handoff to Kane Rocco, and he fumbles the ball, and Darlington has it. That's Corey King with a recovery for the Redbirds.
Outstanding defensive play at the line of scrimmage and forced the running back to turn in, and of course the pursuit was there, and that's a big play for Darlington. Both defenses have looked strong this quarter and have really dominated this game. Now, field position has changed, obviously, in Darlington's favor, so this will be, again, a big series for both these teams.
Andy McGowan forced the fumble, and Corey King recovers, so now Darlington gets the ball at the 41-yard line of Fall Creek with 5:39 left in the 3rd quarter. 6-6. Inside handoff to Matt Christ. He'll gain a couple.
Darlington went into a double slot. Or a double wing with both ends are split, and of course the first play they ran out, that was just a fullback trap. The same play, just a different formation.
These are 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
They really are. I'm amazed at how similar this game has been for both teams. The possession is obviously in Darlington's favor, but the game itself has been very even. Excellent teams. The defenses really, I think, have stepped up this quarter.
And you have reviewed the rules for overtime in case we'd have to do something like that, right?
I'm familiar with overtime. Coaches aren't real excited about overtimes, but I know the rules.
All right, they give it to Chris again, and nothing new in there.
Just a fullback trap the other way, a quick trap. The backside guard pulls, and the fullback just runs inside of that block.
John Kleinhans and Craig Kotz among the tacklers for Fall Creek. So now again a 3rd down situation for Darlington as they try to capitalize on a turnover. Their first score of the game in the first half came off a turnover. In fact, both scores came off turnovers for Fall Creek and Darlington.
We have seen 2 forward passes in this ball game, and I've got a hunch we may see the 3rd right now. I'm not sure, but
Ryder in motion. Nope. They'll give it to McGowan, and he won't get there. Kleinhans again plugging the hole, and McGowan's about 4 yards short of the first down, and it'll be 4th down. Now John Weaver, their punter, is coming in, and it looks like Darlington will in fact kick it away. Brock Gruenwald deep for Fall Creek to receive what appears to be a punt by Darlington, but you just never know. Again, Weaver had trouble with that last snap and avoided disaster. Let's see how it works this time. Good snap, good catch. Tough kick.
The ball got off the side of his foot. And of course, it did not get any kind of a bounce. The bounce was sideways.
That's a 12-yard kick. Make it a 7-yard kick. Well, there goes the average. Well, everything worked out fine until the foot hit the ball. As you say, Charlie, just off the side of the foot. Boy, that's tough. 7-yard punt for John Weaver. Well, I guess the good news for Darlington is that it's still at the 30-yard line, and they got 70 yards to go for a score. But there's John Weaver, who would certainly like another shot at that one. But he'll be back. 3:30 to go in the third quarter, 6-6. Rocco gets the ball. Look at the pile move, and he gets about 6 to the 36.
Just a straight handoff, a straight dive play to the left halfback. And a successful play. It was about a 5-yard gain on first down. It puts him in a pretty good position. Second and about 4.5, I believe.
Some big boys flying around in there.
Carl Anderson has stayed in at fullback.
Flag is down. Illegal procedure against Fall Creek is the preliminary signal. And that'll be a penalty on Fall Creek. And Ron Schultz doesn't seem to be particularly pleased with that call. Standing next to Ron Schultz, the guy with the hooded sweatshirt there, is Arnie Skookrud, who's the girls basketball coach at Fall Creek. You might remember Arnie's girls winning a number of state championships in girls basketball in the mid-'80s. So 2nd and 9. They give it to Rocco again. He nearly escapes, but he can't get by. Number 81, Matt Johnson for Darlington. So 3rd down facing Fall Creek.
About a 3rd and 4 situation. And of course, I think that the Fall Creek would like to keep possession of the football right now, as well as Darlington, at least in the first half, used that clock and held on to the football.
By the way, you see 2 sets of hash marks there. The inside ones are for the Badger football team for college rules, and the outside ones where you see the ball being spotted today for high schools. 3rd down. Anderson will get the first down as he goes to the 44-yard line. So Carl Anderson picking up the first down for the Crickets.
Carl makes a nice run here. He makes a nice plant with his left foot, and of course it just drives straight ahead.
And all we heard about before the game was hackle, 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 and 1,600 yards and 30 touchdowns. And yeah, he's done a nice job, but boy, I tell you, Anderson and Rocco have really played well for Fall Creek as well. They have a lot of weapons, and they're using them all. Anderson with 44 yards rushing. 1st and 10 at the 44. Rocco that time. He'll get 3.
I think both of those kids, in light of the injury, have had to pick up their game a little bit, and I think that happened so often. I think they knew that it was on their shoulders, and I appear that they both come into this game ready to play. They're probably carrying the ball more today than they have a lot of the year.
And it has to be frustrating for Russ Hackle, who had such a big year and then just such a frustrating injury. Got a helmet on a kneecap against Elk Mountain, a terrible bruise. They thought it was a fracture for a while, but it was a bruise. Now the pitch to Carl Anderson. Breaks 1 tackle, but can't get by Matt Christ. It'll be a gain of 4 to midfield for Carl Anderson.
Good pursuit by the linebackers right here on the pitch. Outstanding block. And of course the scrape, I think Matt comes across now on pursuit, makes a nice play.
That was a pancake block, huh? Got somebody right on their back. 3rd and 3 at midfield with 50 seconds left in the third quarter. Darlington still holding the rushing advantage, but Fall Creek is creeping closer. Anderson. He'll get the first down on second effort and a flag. Might be a face mask.
A late flag came into that huddle, or into that pile. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
I think one of the Fall Creek players might have helped push Anderson, and it's going to go against Fall Creek. Now, watch at the end. One of the Fall Creek players might be pushing Anderson to try to get the first down, and I think that's where the flag came in. Right there, 77. Fine hands. And then the flag comes, and I think that's what they're going to call.
That's a tough call. On the film, I think you can see the block is into the pile somewhat. And, of course, it came at a situation where he probably had that first down. So it makes it difficult.
So instead of 1st and 10, it's now 3rd and long at the 47-yard line. 3rd and 8. Anderson again. He goes nowhere. Fall Creek will have to punt.
That was a call you see sometimes on the goal line, but you rarely see that call out in the middle of the field.
And we may not get another play off here in the 3rd quarter as we're under 5 seconds, and that will do it. After 3 quarters, Darlington 6, Fall Creek 6. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network. We're back at Camp Randall Stadium, 6-6 as we start the 4th quarter, as Fall Creek has the ball 4th down at the 48-yard line, and they're getting ready to kick it away to Darlington. Brock Grunwald lets her fly, and it's a good kick. It carries to the 15 where Stoffaker has it. He heads left. He's on his feet to the 30 before Rocco leads the tacklers for Fall Creek. 32-yard punt for Brock Grunwald.
This game right now in the 4th quarter is going to have an interesting outcome. I think field position is most critical. If there's a mistake or, that could change this thing around, because the way this game's going, it's obviously going to get down to the wire. It's going to be very close. Darlington's 70 yards away right now and not the best field position.
The handoff is to Ryder. He scored the touchdown in the first half. He'll get about 5, just over the 35-yard line. Some people might say, well, Fall Creek has a little disadvantage because they have a lot farther to travel to play at the state tournament. But Charlie, you found out that being on the road is nothing new for the Fall Creek Crickets this year.
This is their 13th road game. I guess they're the road warriors. They have construction, as I found out in talking to their coach, that meant that they couldn't play at home. Something's being built, I guess, right on the game field, and hopefully they'll have it ready next year. So they've been on the road every single day they've played, and of course that's a lot of bus rides.
That kind of eliminates homecoming too, I would imagine.
Well, I don't think so. There's something happen, I'm sure.
The handoff to Christ, and he's close to a first down just across the 40-yard line.
I think you could probably use that to your advantage too. You play on the road all the time, but I know just from being around a lot of coaches that sometimes those bus rides get long. Sometimes the way home or the long rides, things didn't go well, but
and the food is always good on those bus rides too, right?
Oh yeah, it's just wonderful, just wonderful. But that's an interesting story. They've played 13 games in a row on the road.
Yeah.
They've obviously played very well.
Well, they've won every one so far, and they're right in this one in the 4th quarter. And Ryder was the ball carrier, and he's very close to the first down. They're measuring; he's just short. So Darlington now will have 3rd and less than a yard at the 40. Of course, Charlie McDonald, you won a state championship at Beaver Dam in 1979. What was that feeling like to win a state championship?
Well, it was really great to go through that. And, of course, all the players we had, I'll always remember them. And I think our coaches, our staff at that time, it's something special they always remember. And this has grown each year. I think it's gotten bigger and better. We have a wonderful crowd here today for this ball game. I think most of the towns are here. I can't imagine there's a lot of folks back home. But it's really a special thing. It's something I think you always cherish, and I know our players from that era, which we had so many wonderful players, will always cherish that. And I think when we get together and I see those guys, it'll remain special.
And that's what they're playing for today. Matt Christ getting that first down on 3rd and short. Darlington now 5 of 11 in 3rd down conversions today. So the Redbird drive stays alive at 10:22 left in the 4th quarter.
This game has been probably as fast a football game as I can ever remember. There have been very few timeouts, and of course there's only been one incomplete pass in this ball game.
This time Christ gets it, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage. Rocco again on the tackle, along with number 85, Bill Steinke, also in there. Darlington, of course, has had great success, and a lot of that attributed to a weightlifting program. Everybody has a scheduled late weightlifting time, and you can see that their strength and stamina certainly has done very well for them this year and through the years. Darlington's weight program well known around that part of the state. Stoffaker now rolling, has a receiver. That's Christ. He's to the 40-yard line. First down, Darlington. Well, they don't pass often, but when they do, it's effective.
That was an excellent play-action pass. Just a waggle look, we call that. He's going to fake it, believes the fullback right now, coming out of the backfield, and the fullback just slides to the flat. Pretty good protection, and you can see, I think, by the touch on that ball and the way the ball was caught, that our quarterback, Tim Stoffaker, has had an excellent year. He's thrown for 10 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions, and he's thrown for 776 yards. So that part of their game is there. We may see more of it right now down the stretch.
First and 10 at the 39. You get the feeling that the next scorer might win this game. Ryder trying the left side, ridden down there by number 30, Ryan Hager.
Fall Creek has really impressed me defensively. They give you some different looks, but they've done such a nice job, I think, as far as stopping the wing tee overall. This third and fourth quarters, they've really picked it up, and I think they're more in control of what they're against right now.
Number 13, Jason Driscoll, returns to the Darlington lineup. Stoffaker, 2 passes, 2 completions, 23 yards. Second and 11. Penalty marker down. Ryder, Rocco, and Brunwald making the stop, but there's a penalty marker down. It'll be a motion penalty against Darlington, so they'll bring it back.
Fall Creek was just in what I call at least just a straight 53 look that time. 3 linebackers, reasonably deep, and of course they just scraped to the play. Not just a sweep play. You can see the backside pulling guard and good penetration and good pursuit by all the Fall Creek kids in that play. Lots of helmets around that football. You can count about 7 right there.
And you get Kristen King leading the way on blocking for Darlington. That's a couple of big loads to take down, but Fall Creek able to stop the play, and they'll take the play. 3rd and 9 at the 38. So the penalties declined. It's 3rd down, 9 yards to go for a first down for Darlington with 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter. And it's to Ryder on the inside handoff, and he's going to be to about the 38-yard line, but that's about 4 yards short of the first down. They gave it to Ryder on the inside handoff, Nick Ryder.
That was the reverse off the wing tee that I can remember, in fact, as a kid watching the Iowa Hawkeyes when the Iowa wing tee, when they had a couple backs. I think Willie Fleming played, and if I remember right, Bob Jeter. And they used to come back Forrest Devashevsky's days and run that wing counter. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
Hayden probably wasn't there then, I don't think.
No, he wasn't there. Well, I was just, I think that was my high school days, but I remember watching that, and it was always fun to watch because those guys really could go.
Bob Jeter, the Packer? Bob Jeter?
No, I don't think so. That was a different Bob Jeter.
Great. Okay, now, Darlington, 4th and 4 at the 33. Darlington has converted 2 of 3 fourth down situations today. This, their most important.
Probably the biggest play of the ball game so far.
Ryder in motion. Stoffaker still has it. Rolling, has a man open. Knocked away. Big play by Sean Lynch. Brian Nethery was downfield and open. Stoffaker didn't see him. He went to the short receiver, Chris, and a big play there by Sean Lynch to stop the possession, and Fall Creek will take over. Now these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network. Charlie, in the opening comments, we talked about both teams have been playing well defensively lately, and this game is just an extension of the last few weeks.
They really have picked up defense the second half. I think that they got familiar with what they saw, and of course they played beautifully.
There's a pass for Fall Creek, complete to Sean Lynch. He breaks one tackle. He's close to a first down at the 39 or the 44-yard line. Gunderson to Lynch.
Nice play by Ryan Gunderson. Sean Lynch just has made 2 big plays in this game. He made an outstanding defensive play a minute ago. I verified that by seeing film of him. And, of course, the reception right now and a nice throw by the quarterback for a nice game.
Lynch with a little spin move to get by Nick Ryder, and they're going to measure for a first down. Somebody said to me before the game, I was walking by the Fall Creek sideline, and they said, Ryan Gunderson is just like Ken Stabler. And the way he throws left-handed and everything, and the way he handles himself, yeah, he might be. First down for Fall Creek.
Well, on the sprint out left, like he does, he rolls left. That's a nice advantage to have that. It's something that a lot of times defenses don't see as much because we do see a lot of right-handed throwers. The run defense has gotten so tough this second half that I think really to move the football, it looks like there's going to have to be more of a passing game.
Rocco with a big hole into the secondary. First down, Fall Creek. Big hit by Tim Stoffaker, but that after a big gain by Kane Rocco. And Rocco's hurt. Boy, Fall Creek has seen this before now. This isn't the same thing that happened to Hackle, is it, where he gets a helmet on the knee? You bet it is, or maybe up the thigh a little bit, but a big hit by Stoffaker, and Rocco is now trying to get up, and he's limping a little bit, but look at that. He's been dinged a couple of times today, but he gets right back in there.
Another 10-yard gain, or 11-yard gain, really, so they've had two big plays, 6:28. They're about 44 yards away.
Now they're inside Darlington territory. 6-6.
Strong
our
left.
Score. Gunderson hands it. And it'll be a gain of about 6. For Russ Hackle, who's back in.
They've liked to give Russ that ball when they set their back strong one side or the other. It's been mostly left with a tight wing, and he just hands that ball off tackle and makes his read and drives in there. Now that was a successful play, about a 5-yard gain.
And Kane Rocco is back in the Fall Creek lineup, so he apparently is all right. 2nd and 5 from the 38 with 5:40 remaining.
Exactly the same look out of the multiple offense. Strong left. This time they gave it to the inside back, and nice play again.
Rocco gets about 3. It'll be 3rd and about 2 for Fall Creek. The clock continues to run.
I'm sure Doug MacArthur right now is concerned because of a slower drive like this is going to take away the 5 minutes that remain. And early in the game they did it, and of course if they could do it again, it creates a problem because if they would score, there's going to be very little time left in this half. Same formation, strong left look.
Fall Creek 3 of 6 on 3rd down conversions and make it 4 out of 7 as they drive forward for the first down to the 32, and that's Hackle again.
That time they just reversed a little bit. He came straight out to the right side. I think if they slanted or overloaded with the offensive set, it may have cost them because they went straight ahead.
And in case you're wondering, there have been 3 overtime games in state football finals history. The first in 1978, Antigo over Madison Memorial. 1989, Division 6, Augusta over Kickapoo, and 1991, Stanley Boyd over Mayville. We could be heading to overtime, but Fall Creek on the move. Big hit there by number 42, Matt Christ, as he stops Rocco after a gain of about 4. And the clock winds down to 4:30 left. Second and 7. Gunderson gives it to Hackle, but blazing through the line is Andy McGowan. Big play for Darlington.
Andy McGowan made a great play that time. I think he lined up possibly as a linebacker, and he just penetrated through the gap, and of course made a big tackle on Russ Hackle. He just didn't let him get started. I think if he squares up, it really makes a difference. Excellent penetration.
Kleinhand's got a little piece of McGowan, but not nearly enough, and that's a big play. It's now 3rd and 10 at the 32-yard line with 3:30 remaining. They pitch it. Rocco. Stop. 42, Matt Christ. 81, Matt Johnson. And it's 4th down again for Fall Creek.
4th and 12, and of course this is a difficult choice right now. Do you kick the ball and give it up, or do you take a chance and go for it. Of course, if we don't make it, Darlington will have good field position. It looks like a punt is in order.
There you saw McGowan again in that third down stop, and the second down stop, and then the third down stop by Johnson and McGowan, among others. Now, back to punt again, Brock Grunwald. And he just squibs it a little bit, and a great bounce as Stoffaker handles it inside the 5. Look out, he has a blocker. Hit hard at the 10-yard line by Rocco, and he falls forward to the 12. Stoffaker appeared to have a little bit of an opening, but it was closed quickly by Rocco. 6:6, 2:42 left. Now these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies and Marshfield Clinic. We're back, 2:42 remaining as Douglas MacArthur's Darlington Redbirds have possession of the football. 1st and 10 at their own 12-yard line. Ron Schultz's Fall Creek Crickets hoping for a stop, get the ball back, and score late for a state championship. Ryder in motion. Chris gets the ball open to the 22-yard line, close to a first down.
That was a great first down play. They had very bad field position, and of course the fullback isolation play away from the wing that time got him about 11 yards, I think, in a first down.
Rocco in on the stop, along with Sean Lynch. Fall Creek has 3 timeouts remaining. In fact, Darlington, both teams with 3 timeouts remaining. Chris with 19 rushes for 72 yards, unofficially. 1st and 10, Darlington. Ryder in motion again. Chris gets the ball again. Stopped there by the nose tackle, Ryan Hager.
This is a difficult time, I think, for both sides, particularly offensively. A 2nd and 10 and a turnover right down here could easily end it for you. So you may have to be conservative and with the possibility of playing an overtime situation. About 1 minute and 55 seconds to go.
Ryan Hager is the kind of kid I'll bet coaches love. He's a 151-pound freshman, but he's their starting nose tackle, and he just snuffed Darlington's #1 back.
Obviously, has good quickness and is a tough young player.
The pitch.
Oh, there's a big play in the ball game.
Pitch, it's loose. McGowan racing for it, and Fall Creek has it, I believe, at the 2. Yes. McGowan couldn't beat Hackle to the ball. Stoffaker pitched it behind McGowan. I don't know if he was hit. Nope, just a bad pitch. And then the race was on, and the biggest play of the game puts Fall Creek at the door. You can see the knee brace on Hackle, that right knee, but he's been able to be somewhat mobile today, and there's a huge play in this ball game with 1:24 left. Now, Fall Creek has a chance to win it. Gunderson to Hackle. There's the whistle, and he'll get it marked at about the 1-yard line, as just about everybody on the Darlington defense was there, including number 61, Chad Mosley, and number 67, Chris Reichling. Tischer also on the stop.
Russ Hackle will be very difficult to stop with a 2nd down and 1 at this stage of the football game.
Under a minute to go. And a timeout on the field. Fall Creek takes its first timeout. Now these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies and Marshfield Clinic. There's Coach Ron Schultz. Coach Charlie McDonald, what do you think he's going to do on 2nd and 1 at the 1?
I think that I'm going to give that ball to the fullback off tackle, just like they've been doing down here. Hackle's a strong player. He's got it done all year, and I think you've got to go with him right now. You've got 3 chances. Very difficult situation for the defense. They've got to hope, I think, for either a penalty or hopefully a exchange problem.
Lynch and Hackle are behind the quarterback. Hackle gets it and pushes the pile into the end zone. Touchdown, Fall Creek. Everybody was on the ball for Darlington, but Hackle was just too strong, and the Crickets have a 12-6 lead.
That's a 212-pound fullback, and it's very tough to make a play for less than a yard. He did an excellent job, and Darlington all day has really done a great job defensively, but that was really putting themselves in a tough situation right there.
They go right behind the right guard, Tony Radowski, who pushes the pile ahead, and now Fall Creek will go for 2 points as it's 12-6 with 46 seconds left. Gunderson has it, throws it, complete. Grunwald for a 2-point conversion, and it's 14-6 Fall Creek. This game has taken a huge turn in favor of the Crickets.
Field position is so critical in games like this. Turnovers, of course, there's been 3 in this ball game, and all were very, very important.
There's that conversion again. Fall Creek has thrown only 2 passes today, and that one goes for a 2-point conversion. Both of those passes have been completed, one for a 10-yard gain, the other for a 2-point conversion, and everything's going right for Fall Creek. The sun just came out, so they'll be a little bit warmer in the final 46 seconds.
I think that there have been exactly 3 turnovers, and after each turnover, that has resulted in a score.
Now here's the touchdown from behind. Hackle, there you see Radowski pushing, and Hackle just goes off his left shoulder for the touchdown. Now, Fall Creek will kick off, and it's a little squibber. McGowan has it. He gets to the 40-yard line where he's spun down there. So Darlington has 41 seconds and 3 timeouts to work it down the field. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game and send it into overtime. Otherwise, Fall Creek gets its first state football championship. Stoffaker still at quarterback. Christ is in the backfield. Now Stoffaker drops the pass. He fires. Almost intercepted. That's Hackle, who stepped in front of Brian Nethery. And Darlington very fortunate not to turn over the ball again right there.
Well, they're obviously forced into a situation where they're going to have to throw it, and the problem right now is they have to score a touchdown, and they have to make the 2, which would give them a chance for overtime.
Well, we had a day of long drives, but that last one by Fall Creek only had to go 2 yards, but a big drive, the biggest drive of the game so far. 14-6 Fall Creek with 27 seconds left. Back to pass again. McGowan has an opening and goes out of bounds at the 48-yard line, and the clock stops with 23 seconds left. So Darlington saves another timeout. And again, Darlington has had success through the air this year when they've had to pass the ball. However, that's not the bread and butter of the Darlington team. So we'll see what plays out here in the final 23 seconds. 14-6 Fall Creek. Stoffaker back to throw again. Toward the sideline, too far. The intended receiver was Nick Ryder. It'll be 3rd down.
They're going to need a huge play of some kind, and of course it's very difficult right now because defensively Fall Creek is defending against that, and they're in a 4-deep secondary. They've dropped way off, and so everything really is going to be in front of them.
Check it, it'll be 4th down. 4th down and 2 coming up with 19 seconds left at the 47-yard line, and we have a timeout for this very, very important play. Again, 14-6 Fall Creek with 19 seconds left. So obviously your first priority here is to get a first down, and if anything on top of that is gravy. But
it's a tough call because the time is so short with 19 seconds. It's probably going to, I think they could run for the first down, but it's going to take them probably 4 to 5 seconds and then use the second last timeout. I think that timeout, that's what they're going to have to probably do. And then throw the ball deep, possibly 3 times or 2 times with the hope of making a huge play.
And don't forget, more football action coming along on most of these WIAA State Tournament Network stations. At 3 o'clock, the Division III title game, undefeated Sturgeon Bay against undefeated Ashland. And then at 7 o'clock, the Division I title game as Appleton West faces Arrowhead. So we hope you'll stay with us along the network, and I hope those games are as good as this one. Here we go. Stoffaker, 3 of 6 passing for 31 yards. He's faced now with a 4th and 2 at the 47. They'll try the running play to Chris, and I don't think he got it. Chris got the handoff and was tripped up immediately after.
He does appear to be short.
They're going to measure, but I don't think there's any need to do this. And you're going to hear a roar from the Fall Creek crowd. The Crickets have the ball, 14 seconds left, and an 8-point lead. Well, that play with Chris has been successful all season long, and that time Fall Creek just was able to smell it out. And now the clock runs, and the Fall Creek Crickets, in their first appearance in the state finals, have won the state championship. Head coach Ron Schultz, in his 30th year at Fall Creek, not only has a state football championship, he also won a state basketball title as the Crickets coach. And the gold trophy goes back to Fall Creek tonight. Well, it sure looked like overtime for a long time, and you had to figure the next score would win. And really turnovers, I guess, the bottom line of this game, turnovers, turnovers, turnovers.
They really were significant. Of course, sometimes it doesn't work that way, but they usually are. And the three that happened were all very, very critical because they all were followed by scores by the opposition. I thought that both teams defensively played very well. And, those are two excellent football teams that we got to see play. I'm sure Darlington feels some real disappointment, but I think that when they reflect back on this year, they're going to feel pretty good about it.
And, of course, the question of the week would Russ Hackle play, because he had such a severe injury to his kneecap 2 weeks ago, and he went through an awful lot of rehabilitation, swimming in the pool and running in the pool, and all sorts of treatments that he had taken. And early in the week, they really weren't sure if he was going to play or not, but boy, what a big day he has. A couple of touchdowns, and also recovered that fumble at the end of the game that led to his game-winning touchdown. So a big day for Russ Hackle, a big day for Fall Creek. And for the Darlington Redbirds, a very successful season. They started out 2-3. They'll end the year at 9-4, second place in Division 5 in the state of Wisconsin. Fall Creek, by the way, 13 road games, 13 victories. Lucky number 13 for the Crickets.
Well, this is a great day for them, and I'm sure that, Coach Ron Schultz, he's been in this business for quite a while, and to win a state title has got to be a great thing for him after 30 years. I'm sure he deserves it, and I know that Doug MacArthur, I'm sure, is disappointed, but I've had a chance to visit with him, and he's done so beautifully well here that he's, I'm sure, knows how well his kids really did. And, it was really a privilege to watch the game and to work it like this. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Now time to present the awards to the two teams. Let's go to the public address announcer, Jack Rain.
The executive director of the WIAA. Captains Jason Driscoll, Corey King, and Tim Stavaker of Division 5 runner-up Darlington. Please come to the awards table to receive your individual awards. And Eric Siegenthaler. And Coach Doug MacArthur of Division 5 runner-up Darlington. Please come forward to receive the runner-up trophy.
Stand there, number 24, Eric Siegenthaler for Darlington. He was injured in a car accident earlier this year, very severe injuries he suffered, and he was a real inspiration to this Darlington team as he was able to put on his uniform and stand on the sidelines today. Very disappointed, of course, that Darlington was not able to win the championship, but Eric Sigenthaler is certainly a great story for Darlington, and great to see him on the awards podium today as he makes his way down to rejoin his teammates. Eric Sigenthaler of Darlington.
Captain. Championship team from Fall Creek. And the coach of the 1993 Division 5 state champion from Fall Creek, Ron Schultz.
WIAA Football Network.
State championship game. Do you think you're going to get here a little sooner after this? Did you have a good time today?
Oh, yeah. I'm exhausted right now. That was just really something to sit through. What a great game. Well, good old-fashioned football. There were not a lot of fancy things, not a lot of passes and so on, just good head knocking out there.
You guys scored a lot of points offensively throughout the course of the year, but I guess it's appropriate that defense was the key. You had 6 shutouts coming in today. You didn't get the shutout, but again, your defense made a clutch play down the stretch.
Well, at the end, our third quarter, we were just playing to get the win back. And then we took the chance and hopefully get a turnover or whatever at the end, and everything just fell into place.
Some people might have decided on 4th down when you had the ball on their 35-yard line with about 3 minutes to go for the first down. What was going through your mind when you decided to punt it away?
Well, I was saying we're gonna go for the break. They got to go against that wind. It was tough throwing the ball against the wind, and well, just came out all right. Might have hopefully held them in there, maybe kicked a field goal. You know, just something would happen if we got them down in their own territory.
There was some doubt whether Russ Hackle was going to get a chance to play today. I suppose you're glad that he recovered very quickly this week.
Oh, yeah, I wish he could have played more, but what hurt him more, his knee wasn't that bad. He just so exhausted. He wasn't in shape. He hadn't done anything for 2 weeks, and he was really gasping, but he sucked her up, and he went when we had to use him.
Congratulations, Coach. Nice job.
Well, thank you. It's been great. I'm a little cold right now. But
he's a little cold, but he's a little happy. Back up to you, Jay.
Okay, Jim, thanks a lot. Again, the final in Division 5, Fall Creek 14, Darlington 6. Again, stay tuned on most of these WIAA State Football Network stations. At 3 o'clock, the Division 3 title game, Sturgeon Bay against Ashland. But for now, I'm Jay Wilson along with Charlie McDonald from Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, wishing you a pleasant good afternoon.
The 1993 Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association's High School Football Championships are brought to you by Marshfield Clinic, Wisconsin's most comprehensive healthcare system, and by Rural Insurance.
WKBT's coverage of the 1993 Wisconsin State High School Football Championships is brought to you by Western Wisconsin Sports Medicine, Task Award, Darylyn Power, Quillins, Winona Technical College, Ecker Vacanso, and the Fall Creek Boosters. 1993 Wisconsin State High School Football Championships on Channel 8 WKBT.